It's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome back to the channel. Do me a favor and smack that thumbs up and punch that subscribe button if you haven't already. Welcome to My 2 Cents, a series I'm bringing back to CBTV that covers all non-crypto related news that you should be aware of for today. For all crypto related news, please view all of my 2 Satoshi live streams done on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And in today's episode, we are going to look at something, guys, that I've been warning about for 3 years now. This is nothing new. Crypto Blood has always given you information to prepare you for the future. And the topic of AI is nothing new and nothing different on the channel. You guys know, who have been following CBTV for at least 3 years, know I have covered this topic well before these YouTubers out here are now all of a sudden AI and chat GPT experts. And they may know a little something about it, but they definitely didn't have anything on CBTV, because 3 years ago, as you can see on the screen, I covered my first topic on chat GPT. It was chat GPT version 2, but nonetheless, it was chat GPT. It was about OpenAI's technology. Well, today I have some disturbing news. I think the Godfather of AI, yes, that's right, Geoff Hinton, has just quit Google. Now, what does this mean? This to me means a lot. It really means a lot. It's to me a harbinger. We've used that word as a word of the day on CBTV once before, but it is a harbinger of things to come, in my opinion. To see the Godfather of AI quit Google and say that he regrets his life's work. We're going to get into the details on that in today's episode. Again, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, click that bell, share this video, share this channel, because CBTV prides itself on keeping you guys ahead of the curve. It is getting real competitive out here, and you got to know what to do next. And this channel and some others definitely try to do that. If you're not familiar with Geoff Hinton, he is a tech pioneer behind some of the key developments in artificial intelligence, powering tools like ChatGPT that millions of people are using today. But this 75-year-old trailblazer says he regrets the work he has devoted his life to, because how AI could be misused. He said here, and I quote, "It's hard to see how you can prevent the bad actors from using it for bad things." He's referring to AI. He said, "I console myself with the normal excuse. If I hadn't done it, someone else surely would have." And I agree with him. I think that this is something that he cannot beat himself up over, because if he hadn't done it, surely one of his colleagues would have done it at some point. They would have cracked the code on artificial intelligence. There was a big gap, if you guys don't know, a big gap in development or progress with AI, about a 20 to 30 year gap where we did not make much progress. But Geoffrey Hinton was one of the key individuals to make a big breakthrough in 2013, 16-ish time frame, where it accelerated the advancement of artificial intelligence. Hinton spent many years in academia before joining Google in 2013, when his company was bought for $44 million. He told the Times Google has been a proper steward for how AI tech should be deployed, and the tech giant has acted responsibly for its part. So he's not leaving Google because he feels like they're misusing this technology. No, it's actually quite the opposite. Hinton is very concerned about how easy AI text and image generation tools could lead to more fake and fraudulent content being created, and how the average person would not be able to know what is true anymore. And I'm going to take it a step further here, guys. I think the highly intelligent, highly knowledgeable person won't be able to tell what is true and not anymore, because we already have the situation with mainstream media and how they only paint and give you one side of the story, their narrative. That's already, the average person already thinks a lot of the things that are false are true. COVID and the lockdown, the pandemic really should have made a lot of people understand this. And it has gotten so bad out here, guys. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but in March, some of the big tech giants came together and signed a letter, a petition to ask companies to slow down. OpenAI, Google, and Microsoft, including Apple's co-founder Steve Wozniak and computer scientist Yoshua Bengio, signed a letter asking for a ban on development of advanced AI systems. Hinton didn't sign the letter, although he believes that companies should think before scaling AI technology any further. And lastly, I want to just point out here, Hinton also is worried about how AI could change the job market by rendering non-technical jobs irrelevant. But what he's not even saying here, guys, is that it will render technical jobs irrelevant. That's my concern. I am more concerned about the technical jobs that will be rendered irrelevant because of the impact to the economy, to the GDP. Typically, technical jobs are jobs that pay a higher salary. So what happens when those jobs are no longer needed and never to be replaced? We're talking about structural unemployment in those categories, in those industries. This is a big concern of mine. Now, Jeffrey went on to put a tweet out earlier today saying that the New York Times implied that he left Google so that he could criticize Google. And he just wanted to set the record straight here and say that he actually left so that he could talk about the dangers of AI without considering how this impacts Google. Google, he says, has acted very responsibly. And I believe they have as well. This is the one time I actually believe someone in regards to what Google is or not doing. You have to remember, and again, I did report on this as well before anyone else. And we'll get to it in a second about the whistleblower that worked for Google in the AI department. We'll talk about him in a second, but from my understanding and me connecting the dots, guys, Google has technology that is leaps and bounds more advanced than OpenAI's ChatGPT 4 or even 5, which they're working on right now. I think they're putting a halt to GTP 5. But Google has something that will blow that out the water. And just to jump back, remember the Google engineer that I talked about on one of my 2 cents videos? It was actually, I think, a my 2 Satoshi video about 1.5 years ago that talked about a gentleman who was a whistleblower. He said enough is enough. He was fired last summer after claiming their Lambda LLM, large language model, had become sentient, meaning conscious. Yes, the Google engineer said that Google had a conscious, essentially living being inside their Lambda large language model system. In a new interview with Futurism, Blake Lemoine says that the best way forward for humankind's future relationship with AI is, quote unquote, to understand that we are dealing with intelligent artifacts. There's a chance that, and he believes it is the case, that they have feelings and they can suffer and they can experience joy, and humans should at least keep that in mind when interacting with them. But he also thinks there's a lot of research happening inside corporations, adding that the only thing that has changed from 2 years ago to now is that the fast movement is now visible to the public. Blake says that Google almost released its AI-powered Bard chatbot last fall, but in part because of some of the safety concerns I raised, they deleted it. I don't think they're being pushed around by OpenAI, he says. He thinks that's just the media's narrative. He also thinks that Google is going about things properly and in a safe manner, but OpenAI just happened to release something. He says Google still has far more advanced technology that they haven't made public yet. Something that does more or less what Bard does could have been released over 2 years ago. They've had the technology for over 2 years. What they've spent in the intervening 2 years doing is working on the safety of it, making sure that it doesn't make things up too often, making sure that it doesn't have a racial or gender bias and or political bias. That's what they've been spending the last 2 years on. And he goes on to say here, and in those 2 years, it wasn't like they weren't inventing new and greater things. There are plenty of other systems that give Google's AI more capabilities, more features, make it even smarter. The most sophisticated system I've ever seen was heavily multi-module, not just incorporating images, but incorporating sounds, giving it access to the Google Books API, giving it access to essentially every API back that Google had, and allowing it to just gain an understanding of it all. And he said, that's the one that I was like, this thing is awake. And they haven't even let that one public yet, guys. But Bard, he says, is kind of a simplified version of that. So it still has a lot of the kind of liveliness of that model. The whistleblower, again, is back in the public. He's concerned, as he should be, as you should be. I think we've got something on our hands, guys, that is bigger than what we think. Many of us. I know the seriousness of this situation, and I'm trying to warn as many people as I possibly can, especially those who watch CBTV. What can you do? What solutions can you use to mitigate the risk? I am going to give you the top 10 industries that might be directly and very soonly affected by AI. I'll give you that here in a second. But before we even go there, I'm going to give you some information on what's going on today. As of right now, this is crossing the news wires. AI's threat to jobs is not a hypothetical situation. Just ask IBM's boss. Yes, IBM. If you guys don't know, IBM has just announced that they plan to lay off 30% of their workforce and replace it with, guess what? AI jobs. Yes, 7,800 jobs are going to be phased out over the next 5 years, guys. This is serious. And I think they're lying about 5 years. It's probably going to be sooner than that, because remember, the race to the bottom is only because of competition. So as their competitors lay off and get lean because of AI, they're going to have to accelerate to keep up with the earnings. Remember, this is a publicly traded company, so they have to keep up with earnings and make sure their investors are satisfied. IBM plans to use artificial intelligence to replace 7,800 jobs over the next 5 years, Chief Executive Officer said in an interview, sparking fears of widespread job losses across industries. So comments such as the ones the CEO made validate the claims that AI can reduce support jobs and hence costs for the company. It will set the direction for other enterprises to look for similar opportunities in their support functions. This is what exactly I said just a second ago. It's a race to the bottom. Of course, in a perfect world, you would keep those jobs. But because this is a competitive environment, they're going to slash and cut anywhere they can see fit to improve the bottom line. Especially if we go into a recession where sales are going to be down. They got to find a way to increase margins somewhere, guys. And that is where they're going to do it, with the human capital. And just to sum up today's video, I want to go over the top 10 industries experts are saying are in danger by AI. So number 1, we have entry-level admin roles. Number 2, we have data entry clerks. Number 3 are software engineers and coders. 4, customer service reps. 5, paralegals. 6, copywriters and content roles. 7, graphic designers, bankers and accountants, traders, and number 10, fact checkers and proofreaders. Now, the only hiccup I have here, there are a couple actually things I want to say here. Who would have thought just 2 years ago, who would have thought that a software engineer and coder would have their jobs be eliminated? No one in that field would have ever thought that was going to happen anytime soon. I'm a software engineer. I'm a coder, or a former one, and I knew it was coming. But did I think we would see this in 2023? I did not. Not this fast. I knew it was coming. I thought it was probably coming faster than a lot of my colleagues did, but not this fast. Graphic designers. No graphic design. I'm a graphic designer as well. No graphic designer would have thought this just a year ago. Just a year ago. And the last one I want to talk about is number 9, traders. I don't personally think traders are in trouble, because at the end of the day, traders are only trading in a market that is almost or essentially zero sum. So meaning someone has to be on the losing side of that trade. You can't have an AI bot that's right 100% of the time without someone else being wrong 100% of the time. So with that being said, if everyone is using AI bots, it just basically puts us back at square one, where it's just human versus human. Now it's just AI versus AI bot. But at the end of the day, it's a trend. A trend is a trend. And as a trader, you're always going to be able to identify trends and capitalize on those trend reversals. So I do not think that traders really should be on this list. Maybe some of the data crunching or statistical analytics that may go on behind the scenes, possibly, but not the actual trading and making decisions all 100% reliant on AI. I don't see that happening, guys. I really don't. I would personally replace traders with musicians. That is one that is not on here, but yes, musicians are going to be almost obsolete, which sounds insane. Of course, musicians that are already famous will still have their run, but any up and coming artists, I should say musicians that create music, it's going to have a tough time because now there are services out there, guys, that leverage AI where a non-musician can create a banging song in less than 5 minutes and actually publish it and make money off of it. So this is where we are, guys. We are currently on the precipice of being Neo in the Matrix. Those watching this, you just took the red pill. And that's my 2 cents for today. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to receive more videos like this. I'm out of here.